In this video, the first and last Doctor Who episode of 2019 after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and with Resolution, our New Year's special of Doctor Who, this is the show of 2019, and we will not see another new Doctor Who until 2020. That seems to be a long time away, but actually is only a couple of months later than we normally would see the next series of Doctor Who. It seems to be in this day and time, and it's not been unusual with the BBC to have limited numbers of episodes within a series, where in the United States used to be you always had 26 episodes, and then later had 24, and then 22, and now in some specific binge-worthy type shows you may have fewer. The Orville, for instance, is only going to have 14 episodes. Star Trek Discovery only had 10. Doctor Who, the same kind of thing, only 10 this time around, and we now have for this entire year one special. This goes back to even David Tennant, who was quite a few years playing the Doctor, but often would have nothing but a Christmas special. So in this case, this New Year's special actually deals with New Year's Day. We join our friends when they have gone 19 New Year's celebrations in a row as an interesting way of observing things, and are seen as witnessing fireworks of a sort, watching a supernova. And I believe they go back to the supernova before the episode is ended. So it's kind of interesting connection. Also, this is one of those kind of things where they say in any kind of drama, if you're going to shoot a gun in the third act, you have to show the gun in the first act. And so, of course, this microwave oven, which seemed to be just something carrying along, comes in useful. So this microwave oven, which was introduced early on for no real reason, turns out to be useful near the end of the episode. We're not surprised by this. So the first time that a Dalek ever was on the Earth apparently was in the 9th century, and it was cut into 3 pieces and buried in 3 pieces around the world, one of which happened to be Sheffield. It is the conceit of Doctor Who that whatever's happening always happens in England. However, in this case, we have a couple of archaeologists who've uncovered part of the Dalek, has put it under UV, and that's caused it to be able to connect with its former selves and start wreaking havoc. What's interesting about this is that this is the first time that we have seen the Doctor really concerned. I mean, she said that she's worried before in next to the last episode of the series, in which the alternate universe, that is the frog universe, is of concern to her, but she doesn't seem to be actually worried until she has to go up against a Dalek. And this is consistent with other Doctors. They are very concerned whenever Daleks come into the picture. How am I going to defeat them? In fact, one line I particularly like, me and a Dalek, that's personal. And another one that seems that I always think that I'm rid of them. Anyway, with this, the Doctor, as predicted, is able to overcome the Daleks. This time, though, with the aid of the humans that are traveling with her. That's a recurrent theme throughout this series, that the Doctor's effectiveness has to do with the fact that she has a support group with her in order to get things done. And we see a lot more of the Doctor in this episode than we have in any other during the entire series. The Dalek that attached itself first to Lynn and then to Ryan's father reminds us of the creature that attached itself to Donna Noble in the episode where they're trying to find out what happened to the Doctor, and this creature is attached itself to Donna, and people are able to see it, but she's not able to until they put her in this thing that's powered by the TARDIS. So kind of a callback on that particular thing. We also have a callback of UNIT, and in a situation where the doctor wants to contact UNIT. She's given a switchboard operator who doesn't seem to be terribly interested, kind of a 911 responder who doesn't seem to be terribly interested in doing anything in very much of a hurry. And in doing so, that's kind of comic relief and also kind of a commentary, kind of a wink toward the fact that the BBC has suffered some budget cuts in the recent past. And they're indicating that there have been budget cuts on UNIT as well, in the point that it's been suspended pending a review. So we're not able to have UNIT at the doctor's disposal. The idea that the doctor is the president of Earth, all this kind of stuff has been kind of thrown away, and they're going to. This is a way of doing two things. One of pointing out that the doctor's status on Earth is different than it was before, and also that governments, being what they are not going to let things like UNIT run free in this day and age, not if it costs any money. A couple of lines that I particularly liked was, "How long is a row?" I need to remember. I never knew how long was a row. I thought that was kind of funny. And when the Dalek is first going to the communication center, it has an R2-D2 type interface plug. I find this is interesting. Perhaps it is a universal galactic thing that computer interfaces all have the same kind of plug. I've never seen one like it, but perhaps in more advanced computer setups, they have stuff like that. So this Dalek would have more trouble getting into my computer than they do into an international communication network. So for all that's worth, the Doctor did not have to sacrifice Ryan's father, and for a moment it looked like he and Ryan would have been sucked out the door of the TARDIS, but thankfully things worked, and everybody was able to come back in one piece, as it were, and go on their merry way. Mitch and Lynn were going back to their archaeological dig. Ryan's father going back to do whatever his reformed self was planning to do, with a promise that Ryan would eventually be back after some time of traveling with the Doctor. And so that's the way we're left. And all in all, I think that the show was pretty well balanced. They actually gave the Doctor a part this time. They gave Yaz something to do. Perhaps with 90 minutes, it was a little easier to be able to establish a little more of a story than they've been able to do in the hour-long segments. I'm not certain. But I'd like to know what you think about it, of course, as always. And please do give me a comment or two on this. And if you've not already become a subscriber, we hope that you will, because on Thursday we're going to do a review of the second episode of The Orville. We're going to be talking about the short trek very soon, and we, of course, will cover Discovery when it comes back into production. So we have much more to talk about on this channel. We hope that you'll be along with us for that. So please do subscribe. Happy New Year to all of you, and until next time, don't go far.